Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
I am Marge, and I'm only 86-year-old.
And how do you live your life?
By the moment in the now. Just however I feel the truth, beauty, and goodness and loveness activating, then it activates in a special way in the now, and I'm enjoying.
And what do you do each year? What's your schedule like?
Well, I have no schedule. That's what it confuses me and everybody. I just start the day, and very seldom does the day go according to a planned program. Even if it's a program for resting, God shows me something special and exciting to do. And if the exciting thing is all fixed, then God makes it very individualistic in the moment, full of joy. My message is to find our individuality. Each person is absolutely individual and has been made aware in a conscious human form for something special. And if we really want to enjoy our own self, we have to give this individuality to all. And so this is what I want to do. I don't want to listen to what other people tell me I have to do, but I can get ideas from it. But I want to really act and live with the individuality that makes itself known within my own consciousness.
And what about the oneness?
The oneness is very excitingly happens. That at first we feel that we're different. Some people are French and some people are Germans and some people are Chinese and all. That has been imposed on us. But if we stop to think about the individual consciousness, we each are activating on the same physical system, our hearts, our kidneys, etc. And we breathe the air. And there is no place where the air stops and finishes and can't go on to the rest of the world. So I read somewhere, and it seems true, that we are each breathing everybody's ideals. So then, if we can realize that each of us individually have a special contribution to make to this life, which is plants, animals, rocks, everything, then we feel the oneness. And many spiritual people say that the God really is light in creation. And this light energy is the real reality. So that's what I want to experience.
And have you experienced it?
Yes, because of course it comes in thoughts, and the words are not deep enough and they're limited. But in feelings, your feelings don't stop anywhere. They keep going. And it's really a joy to feel. When you see a beauty of a rock, you begin to feel a special contribution of creativity in that rock. Or you see a tree. And how did that tree become all of the leaves, the fruits, or whatever it is, from a tiny little seed? And then you begin to see, well, this light and this water, the air, it must be an allness, and it must be the foundation for all of us. And it is a creativity, and when we learn what we are creativity, that we are a creativity, and we stop limiting it, and we just live in joy, then something new happens.
Yeah, I love that. We are creativity. We are created and creating.
Right, and we can't separate us. If you stop to really begin to feel yourself, how can you separate yourself from anything? When you see something, the tree over there, there's a interchange that is very important and very much full of joy.
This is so beautiful. Tell me, what are your hopes for the future of humanity?
My no hopes. I expect humanity will individually become a universal unity. that we will become aware that we are interrelated, that there is no real separation, only an individuality with each of us. So then when that becomes our experience that we live in, then there will be a peaceful interchange. And I don't think our minds are subtle enough to even imagine it. It's even hard to imagine that we have any possibility for real peace and real love. So I feel there's going to be a new world, that creativity will be so more subtle, so much more beautiful, that all of this physical manifestation that's limiting us will be dissolved into something new. I don't think we have to destroy. I think we just have to let our consciousness transform what we are experiencing into another level, and then a new creativity will be there for us.
And do you feel that there are beings that are guiding us?
Yes, but I think those beings are really part of us also. They can't be something way foreign to us, because then there wouldn't be any reactions and no inspiration. So I think that we are also, it's the same creating force that is creating us that's creating them. So I think there's an inner involvement, an inner experience that makes us oneness, even though our experience is that they are there and we are here.
And my experience of you is of someone who's just ultimately loving and supportive more than most people I know. Have you always been like this, or how did?
No, I was never ever this much full of joy and appreciation, and I have many times, I used to be very critical of people, no, I don't like them and so forth. But now when I see that I don't like them, what they're doing, or they shock me, then I immediately, almost immediately usually, begin to feel their soul. Their soul in my soul are oneness in the all soul. So therefore, that's a part of them that I begin to focus and appreciate, and I think of that, and then I feel that by thinking and focusing on their soul, that it makes it grow and develop in them for their own individuality. But if I think how ugly they are and how mean and anxious and greedy, then that part of them also will magnify. So I want to immediately, when I see any of these negativities or fears or anything coming, I want to think of loveness, creativity with harmony, and know that, and remember and feel that their soul is the same creativity that is the allness, and therefore, if we think of each other and everything as that creativity and loveness and harmony, then this will be growing and more active and more powerful than if we think of, oh, most people are greedy and most people are selfish. So I want to think of the happiness and the joy. And doing this, my life has become this.
You think that way, that's what
happens.
appears.
Yeah. We are our thoughts. And a lot of times we've been trained and taught as human beings to notice and observe other people as being separate, and especially being critical. And that isn't a very paying, rewarding experience. It's more rewarding to put our consciousness in a combination with their consciousness, but keep our own individuality. We don't want to become them. We want to find what kind of love and beauty is in our own soul that we were born to express.
And if you were to introduce someone to the idea of repeating a mantra, how would you explain it?
You see, this day and age, a mantra repetition seems to be the easiest and most powerful, because our world is in such an active. So the mantra should have an expression of one word that means the allness. So I won't look at anything without seeing God there. And so if we, one time at an ashram in India, a man came and he didn't understand the language at all, but he understood that chanting the name of God would bring him joy. So he chose some word, selected, and thought they were giving him some word like tree. And he was chanting that over and over again. And he began to feel the loveness and the joy of the allness. So the word isn't important as the feeling of the allness and the harmony of it. So whenever anybody gives me a chance to share mantrams, I say choose your own word for God. You can be Christ or Buddha or Kali or anything, but call God by the same name all of the time with your chanting. Like if you called your mother sometimes, and Mom sometimes, and Mary sometimes, and Mrs. Jones sometimes, you wouldn't have the real focus for her. So if you can decide what name, what sound means the allness everywhere, then if you chant that and try to chant it, keep it going inside yourself as much as you can, whatever you're doing during the day, when you first wake up, when you drive, whenever you don't have to think of something special, chant, and then you find that that whole mood keeps going on all of the time. And instead of just looking and, oh, isn't that flower beautiful, what you have is the feeling of the way that flower is a combination of all of the energies in the planet and how it's been able to absorb and express all of this beauty, all of these elements. And so that's what chanting is to me.
And can you show me when you repeat your mantra, can you say how you say it to yourself?
Yes, it seems that in India, I had been introduced to this Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om, I think, is the nearest Amen, Amen, which we have in Christianity, is the nearest to Om, which if you see, you open your mouth, Om, so you try to become one in harmony with the energy of the space. And so that's what it means at first. Om is the allness. And Shri means honorable. And Ram is the sound that is activated every time this energy is making a different form. And it's always making a different form. There's nothing that stays the same. So I'm always Om Shri Ram Jai Ram. Jai is victory. In other words, this energy pattern has a much deeper awareness of beauty and truth and joy than our conscious mind. So I want to merge with that. So the Ram is, to me, the play that is going on everywhere. And now I walk by something and weed, and I see the beauty of that flower, and I see how it's enjoying. So that's the way the chants mean for me. We as human beings have been taught that we're born as a child and baby, and we have to grow, and then as we get a certain age, we begin to get weak, and we begin to get old. But I feel this form, our body, is something just temporary. It's our awareness and experience in our consciousness. The consciousness is the reality. So I'm refusing to feel limited by 86 years old. I'm thinking whenever I find something that isn't working as what it should be, then I'm feeling the allness and feeling this energy and beauty and truth and creative harmony. Okay, let it express through this so that things will create in a better natural way. Not that I can create and think, not with my conscious mind, but with my heart feeling mind. So this is, my body has stayed in a much better way than it would 10 years ago. My eyes can see now without glasses, and I feel that humanity itself is going to live with this energy, with this feeling of allness, that we're part of the creativity, and we don't have to get old.
You're a good example of that. And do you think you'll ever come back again?
Oh, you see, I feel that I don't quite react to the fact that we don't ever come back when we get to this feeling. I was talking to the Dalai Lama many years ago with a special interview, and we asked him if he was going to be reincarnated and all. He said, most of us Buddhist monks, and I think he meant Tibetans, want to keep activating and reborn in a body until every sentient being has reached this feeling of nirvana or allness. And for what nirvana is, in my mood now, is it's a awareness of the freedom that we have, no limitations, that we are extensive. We won't have to go to China to find out what China's like. We now can remember and think about things that we've seen or we've read about, but we will actually experience without the limitations of our body. And so I don't think that there comes a time when this soul is not aware and not active. It just depends on what it chooses, what our individuality chooses to express.
Great, thank you.
Thank you for the loveness and the beauty of sharing. It's always a joy.
Don't go too far with that.